Okay, so driving the energy once again, just doing a little work on that mental. So we're just gonna talk about it because goddamn it, I got to talk about it. So I have decided that I wanted to start performing sound therapy. I wanted to do sessions, but my sound therapy is also a part of my art therapy services too. But I don't know, the sound of things is just pulling me. So I wanted to do an event, like a sound healing event, just have like a couple of people, but I wanted to charge, right? So I said, well, I want to charge $50 and I want the event to be 2 hours. So for the first 30 minutes, I wanted to take time out for arts and crafts, so that we could design our little, the eyepieces that you put over top of your eyes to block out the light, and then for the next 30 minutes, we just kind of get into certain body positions for each chakra before we go into the sound healing meditation. And of course, if I'm going to do an event, I want to have like little party favors and then food, of course. It's like little finger foods. So the process of that was becoming very stressful. With having to find a space and then to rent it. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm just like, okay, this shit is stressing me the fuck out. Okay, so the money is not the problem, but it's finding the space. So, my son's father, he tells me, he's just like, well, the library will let you do events for free. So I go to the library and I ask them questions. So I cannot charge and it has to be open to the public. So, I told the guy, what I was doing. And so he showed me how to fill out the application, where to go, blah, 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 blah. So I put in the application, and then 2 days later, I received the rejection notice. And they said the reason why they rejected me was because I didn't have enough information. I didn't provide enough information. The first thought I thought to myself, I said, wow, you're a library. You are the powerhouse of resources. You could come to the library and find almost anything. I'm just like, okay, so if you don't know what something is, or if you don't understand, I don't know why you wouldn't look it up, right? Maybe that's not their job. Okay, but I was just kind of stuck because I'm just like, well, I don't understand, what they mean. They asked me specific questions. I answered the questions. So if you need more information, it's kind of like, well, why would you reach out to me? Maybe call me in or have me explain or give some examples. You're just going to straight up just like, no, because, we don't know exactly what's going on. But I'm just like, well, you're the one that provided the application. So why am I being punished? You know what I'm saying? Why can't you take this as an opportunity? Like, oh, you know what? Maybe we need to expand on our application process, because we have come across a situation to where it's something different and we're not understanding. Instead of just saying no, let's just try to figure this thing out. But I'm sorry, human beings have a tendency, I don't know, for most people, it's like more problems instead of solutions. So I've been conflicted in myself because a part of me feels discriminated against, and I know I'm being discriminated against. So the first feeling that I got was to have lots of integrity in this situation. It was to have lots of integrity in the situation, but it's kind of like, I know I'm gonna aggravate these people's demons, right? So then I told myself, I said, you know what? This is something in which I really want to do. I do not want to start a war. So let me put myself under these people. Let me go to them and let me, and let me help guide them through being enlightened to maybe upgrade this fucking app. Okay. So I said, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to ask them, how do they want me to fill out this application? But there's just something there. The intentions are just so, it's bothering the fuck out of me. I said, ooh, it was spiteful. Somebody was trying to be spiteful. I could feel the intention. I could feel the ignorance. And I think to myself, I'm just like, okay, so do I rise above it? Do I have to mother these motherfuckers? Do I have to son these motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? I do not feel like putting on the mask. I do not feel like being the bigger person right now. And this is not normal for me, because when I want something, you know, if I have to make a sacrifice or some shit, I don't have no problem with doing that. But there's a part of me that is just so tired. Like, I'm not about to go in here and kiss these people asses because they're too stupid, even though they're a library, to figure out what's going on. You know, she's so fucking crazy. She's so fucking crazy. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna take a mental break, a mental time out. I don't even want to communicate. I love communicating. I don't even want to communicate, because it's just the intentions, and it's just like, what is wrong? You know, I guess somebody just had a bad day and they wanted to take it out on me. You know, I came into the library and I was with the dude. Like, he was showing me the different rooms. So if somebody overheard or if somebody was hearing what was going on, it's kind of like you knew, you know, somebody knew, you know, but at the same time, it's based on the different departments. I don't think that man has anything to do with the judgment of, you know, accepting or rejecting an application. You know, but my thing is, individuals knew that I had questions. It's a library. So when I'm talking, I'm pretty sure I'm being heard by other individuals who are working at the front desk. You know, and I was kind of picking up vibes from the woman that was next to him. You know what I mean? Older black woman. Just looked dried up and stale as hell, working in the library. You know, got that little funky ass ponytail that she just threw to the back of her head because she's just so tired from such a boring, dried life. You know. You know, I have so many ideas. I have so many things, you know, that I plan to put into pursuit. You know, I need the platform. It seems like every time I try to go out into the world, it's always some type of blockage. It's like the inevitable. And I keep telling myself, I'm just like, why do you keep doing this to yourself? Why do you keep doing it? You know? And the thing is that, you know, I'm just tired of trying. Just because I'm blocked the first time doesn't mean that I'm going to give up. But in this situation, I'm just so disgusted because I can feel the spite. I can feel where it was coming from. I don't know, because they racist up in there anyway, because Ocean View been racist. That was a very racist, you know, Ocean View, it used to be its own town, you know. It used to be its own town, and it was very racist. And I mean, you still have the racist seeds that are there, so I'm just like, man, whatever. So now, I mean, I don't know what to do, but I'm not really worried about it because I have projects that need completing. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to let this go because it's creating stress on the brain. You know, I'm just going to continue to finish up what I have going on, and throughout that process, just be thinking about ideas and just be researching, you know, certain things to do. You know, I think it's just it's like the masculine wants me at home. I talk to God and it's like, I want you at home. You need to be at home. Well, you act like I'm trying to run out here. Well, you know what? I am kind of jumping the gun, because let's say that I do my event and I get people who are interested and they want to experience my service. Well, I don't have a private place to do it. You know, I could travel, but I don't want to have to pack up all of my stuff. You know, and, you know, I don't know what somebody's environment is like. How can I provide the experience, you know, if they're at home and they have like a lot of distractions and all that type of shit? So, you know, I'm just like, okay, so maybe I'm jumping the gun. Maybe I'm being blocked for a reason. So I just need to be patient. So I'm just actually being enlightened to that right now. So good. I'm glad I didn't call. You know, I'm glad. I'm glad I didn't call. And I'm saying to myself, I'm just like, why is that my first reaction? you know. But I'm going to tell you, years ago, my first reaction probably would have been to find out who rejected the application and figure out whose car, you know, like where their car is. And I probably would flatten their tires. So when they're ready to get off of work, can't go anywhere. You know, that's the old version of myself. Old version. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm just saying, I don't think that me wanting to say something is as bad, but at the same time, it's kind of like I would only be giving them the energy back. You know, I can create justice for myself with just walking away from this situation and allow God to work it out for me. Patience is such a, you know, patience it's like long term. You'll get far in the long run. You know, life is a marathon. But there are times to where we want when we want it. So, I mean, it is what it is. Ooh, I'm so glad I got that off my brain. Because it was just in my brain, just going, just, you know, and I'm like torn between, you know, wanting to tell these people off and just walking away. Usually I just want to walk away because rejection is God's protection. But sometimes my ego gets in the way when I don't know what's going on. So that is also telling me that there are challenges with me with expectations. If I don't know what to expect, then I think it creates like a slight insecurity within me. But of course, because I want to be confident. But if I'm not confident in something, I'm not confident in it. And you're going to know I'm not confident in it. And so in a way, you know, I guess I'm going to just kind of feel embarrassed because the pressure I put on myself, I tell myself, well, you should already know, because I think highly of myself. I'm a skillful person. I catch on very quickly through seeing things, you know, by examples being given to me. And I pride myself on that. So I guess, you know, wow. I tell you, boy, enlightenment is a motherfucker. It's just, in a nutshell, this is just a result of me being too hard on myself. So, you know, I need to move into more of, you know, a gentle appreciation and acceptance for myself right now. Boy, that masculinity be oozing, it be popping, you know. But I need to be more in my feminine. I need to be more in the softer side of things right now. That also tells me, you know, there may be a masculine and he may be angry or feeling abandoned or neglected. Like, you know, this person needs to be held, or like they need a hug. You know, they just need that human reassurance, that physicalness that they are loved. You know, that's what I'm picking up too. As within, so without, right? Ooh, something just lightened up within my stomach. I don't know what that was. Usually it's in my chest, my head, or my shoulders. It's in my stomach. All right now. Okay, but I mean, we're going to end it here. We say thank you. Thank you for those words of wisdom and the enlightenment. Thank you. But until the next time, we'll talk again.